the stress in society is a bit different.
When you're not having like some sort of like education, people are not gonna look at you nicely.
Japanese like a lot of raw food. I'm not a big fan of raw food.
Otsukare, I'm Kaja-Kyoto. Japan is really famous and popular on social media. Like they are taking photos in front of shrines, temples, on the street. But if you live in Japan, maybe you can find a lot of strengths and weaknesses, advantages or disadvantages. So I'm going to ask, what are pros and cons of living in Japan? Some people say Japan is magical place. Japan is nothing like that. Japan lives in the future. But is that true? Let's find out. I interviewed a lot of foreigners and Japanese people in Kyoto. So if you visit Kyoto, please hit me up and let me interview you. Aside from YouTube, I have an Instagram and TikTok. So if you're interested in, please check them out too. Okay, let's shoot it.
What are pros and cons of living in Japan?
Pros is the rent is a lot cheaper. And I think because we're still students and we're only here for like a temporary, like a short period of time. So I think the stress for us is also quite low. Because I'm sure like if you're asking people who are like working here, it might be different. But for us, since we're here to experience the life here, so for us it's like not as stressful. But sometimes I feel like the stress in society is a bit different in terms of like you needing to be like mindful of how you behave in public. There's more like unspoken rules of how you should behave in public. Like you can't be too loud, or like they'll be like, oh, like it's not polite if girls don't put on makeup and like go out. There's like this saying, right? So it's like there's more these like unspoken societal rules that you kind of feel that maybe people would judge you. And like if I don't act like other Japanese people, like it's very obvious that I'm a foreigner. And sometimes because the society is still like comparatively more homogenous, so when you stand out, it's really obvious that you stand out and you're not too sure what other people think. So yeah.
So maybe you have to care about your like physical appearance or something every day.
Yeah, a bit more.
In Singapore, you don't care about that.
Less.
Yeah.
In Singapore, if you can, because it's really hot as well. So a lot of people walk around in like a t-shirt, shorts, slippers. They just walk around. It's very normal. But I feel like nobody does that in Japan. Like even if I want to walk down to like 7-Eleven to buy something, I need to wear like a top, a jeans. Maybe not makeup, but like at least my hair needs to be done. This kind of thing. I think a lot of like physical appearance is a lot more important. Yeah. I think cons for me is like maybe language. I think now we're at like a conversational kind of level. But a lot of things, especially if you live here for a certain period of time, there's stuff like, oh, insurance. You need to like register your address here and then. I think that's a bit more inconvenient if you don't speak the language, because it's not a given that people here speak English to a good enough like level to be able to help you like with all the like governmental and like administrative processes when you first get to Japan. Or like every month when I get my electricity bill or like my insurance, like it's all in Japanese. So like sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, this kind of stuff. So I think if you don't speak the language, it can be a bit difficult.
I definitely agree as well. It's like the transition when we got here was kind of rough because we'll have to go to like the ward office and then do our Zadio card and everything else. We have to register ourselves. That was quite challenging.
So how do you handle that? Using Google Translation
Yeah,
every
Google
time?
I think because we already know some Japanese when we got here, and both of us can read kanji, so it makes things a lot easier. But we know some like of our exchange friends who are like from Europe and they've never learned Japanese. It was so much more difficult for them to get here because at the same time English is also their second language. So it's like different people speaking in their second language trying to figure out government documents was like not easy.
If it comes to like young people like me, the main challenge we face is being forced to like find work. For example, when you're in the level of university, when you're a junior, you have to like start looking for different jobs, and you gotta go to job interviews, and so it feels like you have pressure on you on trying to find a job, because if you don't find a job, then you're gonna end up being a ronin. You don't want to be that in Japan. So that is like one of the small things that I feel like makes life kind of difficult. I also think when you're not going to university or you're not having like some sort of like education, people are not gonna look at you nicely. Let's say you could say, oh, I'm doing YouTube, and lately it's getting better. But like when you say I'm doing YouTube, if they don't know you or if you're not popular enough, they're gonna judge you. So it's happened to me before when I tried starting a YouTube channel. So I feel like people want you to work mainly because like as a young person you're supposed to work hard, you're supposed to like do your tasks, and like if you want to follow your dreams, everybody's like, oh yeah, you need to get a degree. Let's say someone wants to be an actor, and an actor doesn't need a degree. You could have great talent as an actor, and if they are telling you to get a degree, then how are you going to become an actor? Because you're studying in university. So sometimes I feel like Japanese society takes away some people's dreams by trying to bring them down in some sort of way. Pros in Japan, I feel like it's more, people are more respectful to you. It's high context. It feels more, if you're half Japanese, like for example, I just take advantage of the fact that when I say something and I ask like for an opinion of someone, that person's gonna end up saying like a little like white lie and just end up making me feel better. Which in a way, yes, makes me feel better. And yes, I think that's a pro. The small con is that because people are too polite, maybe sometimes they lie. But pro that I see in that is that it makes me feel good. And another pro I would say is that like Japanese cities are cleaner than like overseas. For example, if you go to Ecuador, you're just gonna see like people eating in the streets or like people selling food in the street. And I mean, it's nice because it's cheap. But sometimes people who eat in the street just throw away the stuff. It's not nice, and it's not gonna be something that's gonna attract tourists. I feel like Japan takes care of trying to make the cities look good for the tourists. For example, Kyoto. Somewhere else could be like Hiroshima. Like those rural areas, I feel like are more taken care of compared to the city side, Osaka or Tokyo. So that's what I really appreciate about like Japanese society.
Let me start with the pros,
Okay.
the good side. Yeah, the pros, first of all, it's very safe. I jog at midnight and I'm not afraid of anything. Then the other is it's very clean. Japan is very clean. Japanese keep their word. When they say they're going to do this, you are sure they're going to do this. So it's actually that has even made me change my career to when I say this, I mean it and I'm going to do it. So this is the other thing I love. When they say they're going to do this, you are sure they're going to do it. Yeah, this is another thing. Yeah. Then the other pro is that I get to enjoy nature. Japan has a good balance between modernity and nature compared to other countries I've visited. Yeah, because I've been to the US, to Europe, and yeah, there's a very good balance of modernity, and they try to maintain the nature, which is a very good thing.
Especially in Kyoto, right?
Yes, especially in Kyoto. Yeah, there's a very good balance of nature and modernity. So you don't need to over modernize and forget the nature or the tradition. Yeah, they also maintain their tradition. And I've been lucky to be around very kind people in Japan. Yeah, they're very, very kind. So they've really helped me progressed in my career because I'm into academic research. So it has helped me in that way. So those are some of the many pros, in Japan, The cons, first of all, the language.
Okay.
Yeah, language barrier. Because without communication, first of all, it becomes difficult for you to make friends. Then it becomes difficult for you to put across what exactly you mean. So, that's a very big disadvantage for those who don't speak Japanese. The other disadvantage is that okay, it's not really a disadvantage, but a preference. Japanese like a lot of raw food. I'm not a big fan of raw food. So they love, of course, I do eat sushi, but there's even raw chicken. I've seen this type of thing. Then raw fish, of course. So the food sometimes is a challenge, for some foreigners. And even raw eggs. I don't like the raw eggs. Yeah, but some guys mix the raw eggs in like gyudon and someone mixing it. So the raw food. Then the other con is that part of my family is here, just a very few handful, but majority is back in my home country, Uganda. So certainly I miss them, miss my friends. Yeah, so it's that's another con. So you're so far from people, and it's Japan is much more distant from Africa. Yeah, so it's quite long to fly there, and it's even more costly. So that's another con, I would say. The other con is the weather, especially when it's too cold in the winter, because in Africa we have the weather is about constant throughout the year, but in Japan you have changing seasons. The summer is too hot, you're already sweating. This is just in Africa, and contrary to what people believe, actually Africa is not that hot. Yeah, but Japan in the summer is extremely hot. Yeah, sometimes even feel dizzy, like it's so hot. Yeah, so that's another con. Yeah, actually we really love beautiful weather in Africa. It's so nice. It's constant throughout there. The temperature is around 25 to 28 around there throughout there because of the high altitude. Yeah, so the weather is really good in Africa. In Japan, it's quite a huge struggle. So this is my best season, spring. Spring is the best season, because you enjoy the sakura. The temperature is okay. There's not so much humidity, and autumn, but that's just about half of the year. So the other half you're struggling with the not so good weather. Yeah, so those are some of the cons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said that if Japanese people say something, they actually
They mean
do.
it. Yes, they do it.
But there's a Japanese term called tatemae. Do you feel tatemae in your daily lives? Like when, let's say, you're working with Japanese colleagues, co-workers, do you feel in that way?
Well, it depends on the relationship you have cultivated with colleagues, and yeah, my colleagues have been generally very supportive and good. And of course, if it's work related, if someone says I'll deliver this time, so it will be done then. Yes, so you'll know it will be done then. But of course, in other relationships, someone may say hi, but it means no. This is also so there is that communication also. Hi, but they mean no. so, so yes, I understand this. In other situations, of course, it depends on the relationship you have built with different people. Yeah. So there's also that the other con in Japan, they are not so direct with no. If someone is saying no, they'll say it indirectly, but in a very long way, like a paused yes. So then you know that's a no. So they're not so direct with no. Yeah, I think it's against Japanese culture to say directly no. Maybe I can't do this. So yeah, but I've gotten to adapt that. So when you realize the yes is taking so long, then most likely it's a no. If someone says Kyoto, so that's probably no. Yeah, yeah.
So as you live longer in Japan, maybe you could see that, okay, it's no or something. You understand that?
Yeah, so now I understand how they say no and how they say yes. Before I used to get confused. So it's like it's a yes, but it's a no. But now it's I know because I've been with them for some time. So it's a challenge for foreigners who might not know that. Yeah, because you might think, oh, maybe I said yes, but he's saying actually no. But it's hard for them to say no directly. It's a challenge at the start, but of course, once you get to know the culture, and of course, cultures are different, they also have that indirect communication, so you can get to know what they imply. Yeah.
Thank you for watching so far. Maybe you can see a lot of new things about Japan. So if you come to Japan, I recommend you to go to local places, not just Tokyo, Osaka, that's it, not like that. In the local places, you can see authentic part of Japan. So if you like this video, please click like and subscribe my channel. See you in the next video. Stay tuned in my channel.